Hello, 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 all you beautiful people. Uh, okay, so, I don't know what the heck is on my leg. What the hell is that? I sat down, there's like something stuck to my leg. Sorry about that. That was a little unforward too. Oh, shit. Okay, so, space engineers. Oh my god, thank you for the bits. Alice, you, you don't have to. You really don't have to. Okay, so, yes, they're there just spouting away. So, space engineers. When you first load up the game, there is a quasi tutorial mission, a bunch of little kind of story to it, but in all honesty, this is just a completely open-ended, nonsensical sandbox, which is controlled entirely by the player base. So you spawn in, do whatever you want, make a story, whatever, what have you. So you skip all of that. I don't know what you got going on in the background. Is your audio included? Oh, okay, okay. So you okay? No. You're fine. You're fine. Okay, so when you first load in, you're going to go through the main menu. You're going to make sure that you have a you're going to make sure you have it set up to where you just start in a new game. You can pick any system you want to start in. Homeworld is the simplest because you can start on Earth, which is obviously going to have oxygen. I'm going to start on Triton here, and everything you're going to see is going to be exactly the same on every planet, on nearly every start you could possibly come up with. So, we're starting in, and let it load. There we go. So, now, all of that is ice, and I'm just falling down. On my bottom left screen, you will see I have a bunch of mods. This is on my server, so this isn't 100% vanilla, but it's not really, it's like vanilla plus. So what you were looking at here is exactly the starter pod you begin with, and god, this is going to take a while to get down there. On the bottom left corner, you're going to have your health, which is the plus sign, obviously, O2, oxygen, which is going to slowly begin dropping down. The lightning bolt is your energy, and then finally is your H2, which is your hydrogen. Hydrogen controls your jetpack. On planets, it's really helpful. In space, it's absolutely required. And then, alright, so now, the little landing feet on the bottom of this structure have turned green, which means they have locked. So, I can press X to jump out of the seat. I jump back in. So now you're going to see, usually on almost any starter pod you get, you're going to have a GPS location, pistol, and ammo. Some planets will have spiders, other planets will have wolves, and they will come for you. The benefit of having them on is you can kill them, and you can loot them for a random amount of almost any resource. So I'm going to pull that over into my inventory. I'm going to choose to read it. I'm going to press Y to make a GPS, and then I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click on the GPS that was just made. I'm going to unhighlight those so I'm not bothering because these are part of my other stuff going on. Oh, good lord, I just... oh my god, water. Okay, coffee. I can do coffee. Give me a moment. Water. And I took 3 more swigs for the liquor because I don't have that available. And you are a wonderful person as well. And my day was all right. We went out and spent time at a couple parks with the kids, and then we yeah, went and had lunch and kind of came back, and that's pretty much it. Did a little bit of cleaning and stuff around the house, but that was about it. So, breathe again. So, press X, jump out of the control seat. Now you're going to press your select button. You can navigate everything with your D-pad up and down, and then your right and left triggers to cycle through all of your menus. Inventory is going to show whatever is immediately in there. Then you got your control panel that is going to be connected to whatever you have. Production is going to be if you're hooked up to a system that can make stuff. So you're going to come over to this side. This will be your O2 H2 generator. This is how you get your oxygen and your hydrogen immediately off the bat. It converts ice into hydrogen and oxygen. So in this, because on this planet, I'm going to take both of these. I'm going to put both of these in my inventory. Now, the other thing, my inventory is currently set to 2,000 liters as max. That's not actually vanilla. I boosted that in the server settings itself because you have a small cargo container you can make, you have a medium cargo container you can make, and you have a large one you can make, that all in what's called small grid. This is all small grid. Make sure those red signals aren't going to come near me. And the medium cargo container holds, well, I think that's like 3,500 liters. So you still can make one, and it just doesn't make it null and void, because I don't think I can think of a time I've ever needed to make small ones because my inventory holds more. Anyways, so you've just touched down. You've got your, I don't actually need this anymore. You've got your oxygen bottle, you got your hydrogen bottle. Now you have your tools. Your tools will be in the middle of your screen on your D-pad. You press up, you have your drill, your grinder, and then your welder. Grinder, hang on, yeah, grinder. You just tap, and you can grind up absolutely anything. Now each one of these, when you look at a block, case in point, this block, you can see on the right side of the screen there, it only has one steel plate in it. So that's just being held together by the most bare minimum of anything. But you look at something a little bit more complicated, like the H2O2 generator, now you have steel plates, construction components, large steel tubes, motors, computers, and then more steel plates. And then you look at something like this atmospheric thruster, or ATMO, it's going to have steel plates, all the same stuff, but it also has another component called metal grids. So everything, here's your battery, this is where all of my power is coming from at the moment. Everything is being powered by this, and the power cells are the unique part for this one. We get down here, we can build landing gears off of motors. Now this side, this little terminal right here, you can press it, and what it will do is it will actually recharge your energy, it'll heal you, because this is your survival kit. Your survival kit is the most important thing, because it is your spawn point, as well as it is how you craft. So, when you have your drill out, you look around, you got to find ores. So you literally just right trigger. Now I've busted a chunk of stone here. This is 97.1 stone. So now that's what I have. There's another piece. Now digging through the surface, this is all just going to be dirt. This is not going to give you much stone. So instead of right click drilling, which is going to make a small hole and allow you to pick up the stone, you're going to left click drill, which is now going to cut open a hole large enough for your character to actually walk through. So now you're going to kind of do what you never do in Minecraft, which is dig straight down. Hold your right bumper. You can open your helmet. Don't do that on a planet or off-world or anything like that. You can change to a third-person view. This is what my character actually looks like. I can let me do that. I can wave. You got little emotes. Let me scroll through. Got a few of them here. And we got the best one. Nice. Little dancing going on. Hey, Nicole, how are you doing? Just breaking it down. Making a little starter tutorial thing on how to play Space Engineers. Alright, so from there, you can hold left bump or hold your right bumper, push right on your D-pad, and now you can turn your lights on. Now, having your lights on will drain your energy faster, as well as using your tools will drain your energy. So, you're going to just we've dug through past the surface soil into blatantly obvious this is pure stone. So you're going to gain much larger quantities much faster. Now you can see in the middle of my screen down the bottom that the circle that has my tools, as well as there's a little backpack and a white circle. As I pick these stones up, it's just turned red. That is your indication for your inventory. Now it is full, and you'll get Karen telling you that your inventory is full. So, I have 4,548 kilos of stone in my inventory. Press X when you walk up to the terminal, or when you walk up to the access port on the side. The top section of crafting is going to be where your raw material goes. So I put that in there. See right there, it can only hold 1,000, so I was only able to put a little bit in there. So now, oh, you're tired, Nicole? I'm sorry. So now I'm going to use right trigger, go over to production. Now, the only things you can make out of the survival kit are the most basic resources. So steel plates, interior plates, solar panels, motors, computers, construction components, displays, and girders. So for this, it says you need iron, silicon. I didn't mean to actually click that. Silicon, iron, silicon, iron, nickel, and iron, and then silicon and nickel to make solar panels. Now, the way to get the initial resources is going to be, you click on ingots. You only have one option, and that's your ingots. And this is the only time you'll ever see this icon. You are going to queue up, pressing left and right on your left and right bumpers, and click A, I'd say 3 times. So now you've queued up 3,000 ingots. So now, all I have to do is go back to my inventory, and it's already processed most of that. And now it's breaking the stone down into basic components of gravel, raw iron ingots, nickel ingots, and silicon. From these, you can then begin building. Go to components. You can then begin building your actual components. Now, I have 8 steel plates on me. What you do is, you click your left stick, and now this is your recent blocks. These don't really matter too much. Push your right bumper. Now you have your first page of light armor, heavy armor, and then you have your production. First, we're going to build us a grid, because let's say you're playing on this server or a public server, and you die, leave, or this thing loses all power. This is essentially useless, or it will be deleted because you've left the server. So your first goal is to want to get this moved so that your respawn point will be where you're trying to build all of your basic infrastructure. So you're going to bring up, go to light armor. Now, the way I've found it to be easy to orient myself is hold your left bumper and push your right trigger a couple times until you get your whatever you're trying to place nice and squared. And now see how I got a green box? I can put this in the ground itself and essentially make it a static object. Nothing will move unless this block is destroyed or I grind it away. Now if I turn and look at the smaller unit, it's the exact same block, except now you're in the small grid version. Small grids are a 1x1 space as opposed, let me see, yeah, it's a 1x1 space. However, large grid is a 5x5 squared unit of this exact same block. So now what you're going to do is, let's say you're on small grid and you want to go to large grid. You're going to push your left bumper and tap X. Now it's been increased to large grid. And now it's a little tilted. So I'm going to hold left bumper, right trigger, and it's reoriented it to the planet. Sometimes this doesn't work and you kind of got to fudge it a little bit, because you see that the red line that's going through, that's the rotation that I have that I can move it in. And let's say if I go all the way to it, it's going to just snap to a different orientation every time. So all you gotta do is just barely kiss the top of the soil or the top of the dirt and push your right trigger, and now you've placed the frame. This frame is rock solid. You can build anything you want on it. It doesn't matter. The problem is, if a fly lands on it and decides to fart, this thing is going to be destroyed, because it is only held together by a single steel plate, nothing else. Now, it doesn't matter if you're wanting to build just this piece of armor or this massive refinery. I can place a frame of it simply because I have one of the very first component required, which is steel plates. And there's different uses for that. This is called Space Engineers, and you can engineer yourself out of absolutely any problem. It's just if you can think clever enough about it. Let's say you flipped something over. Yes, this is one steel plate, and this has one steel plate. However, this weighs significantly more than this. So you can build a line of steel, blocks coming out, scaffolding coming straight out of something, and attach like 9 of these to, let's say, roll a rover back over onto its side. Hey Kev, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Yes, water a fly fart, because I'm not even joking. I'm going to pull the gun out, and I'm going to show you. I've pulled this out of my inventory. Lock and load. Literally, a single bullet from the most weakest gun in the entire game is going to destroy these things. Now, having said that, there's something to be said, because this is put together by one steel plate, and so were those. Also, another point, if something is destroyed, it will drop scrap metal. Scrap metal does have its uses, but you can't do anything with it until you get to what's called the basic refinery, which we'll get to that in a moment. However, this one, it was at 100%, like that one was, but I put one bullet into it, and it dropped it down 11%. But, because it still has the one steel plate that it needed, I can fix it, and now it's back to 100%. And the bullet hole just fades away to nothing. So, we need to get much more resources, and we need to get much more steel plates. So, for the time being, inventory and cargo are going to be your biggest frustrations. So what you're going to do is, passenger seats, beds, just random things have cargo capacity. And until you actually start building cargo containers, you're going to need to keep an eye on that. So this can only hold 1,000. This can only receive ice and hydrogen and oxygen bottles. That's it. So I have all of this ice over here that I can go and get, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to go back down, turn my light on, press B to crouch, and then just begin. There's a trick I do with a hand where I'll use my middle finger to hold down my right trigger, and then I'll just use my index finger to hold down the X. So as I mine, I'm automatically picking these up, so I don't leave a pile of them. But there's a couple there on the ground. That's not a big deal. Come up to the top, fill this up, and while that's running, now I still have 6 blocks. Yes, Kev, I am doing really good. Alright, so, back to what I was saying, the way you place a block is you click your left stick, you bring up your build menu, you select the block by navigating with your left stick, and once it's highlighted, you push your right bumper. Right bumper, now you have control of this. Now if you want to build something you want, you can press your left bumper, press and hold it, and now I don't know why it's not allowing me to do this. Oh, there we go. That was a little silly. Most of the time you don't need to do this with armored blocks because all sides of it are connection points. So I'm just going to place this a little ways into the ground, that way I'm up off the ground enough. Now once it's where I want it to be, right trigger, and there it is. So now I have 6 blocks, that was 1. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 1 more. And I'm going to just come off the middle because I do have mild OCD. And now I've laid all my 6 pieces. Now you see the block that I was able to place is now lit up in red. This means you don't have even one of the of the original pieces you need to even place it. So to make this go away, click your left stick, and then without selecting anything, push your right bumper, and that goes away. Another thing, if you press and hold your right bumper and push down, you can now access your paint menu. You can paint anything and anyone's stuff. You can pick between different shades. If it's a color that exists, you can probably figure it out. Case in point, that's white. Now it's a dark gray. Now it's red, green, whatever. Now let's say I want to make it look rusted. Now we got that nice extra rusted look. Make it look beaten up. Let's say I want to paint the entire thing. You press and hold left and right bumper, pull your right trigger, and now this entire unit and everything attached to it is all painted the exact same color. Then you have, actually, you know what? Let me, wrong thing. We'll pull out Nicole's favorite color, about right here. We'll lighten it up. Adjust the color a bit, make it very pink. Alright, so now, prepare your eyes, and then boom. You're looking at like a crush, glittery, sparkly pink thing that makes my eyes bleed just by looking at it. So then we got just basic steel. We also have what's called camouflage. It is cow print, and if you get close enough, it actually is fuzzy. You've got the disco ball. There's all kinds of stuff. You could even make it wood. You can genuinely have wooden stuff, which is just silly. I don't know why you'd want this, but you have a moss color, so there's all kinds of different things. There's digital camo, there's carbon fiber, There's even frost colored, which frost is kind of a silly thing to have out in space, considering you have to have some form of oxygen for things to rust. So I don't know how you can go from rust, snow, and whatnot. But anyways, if you're stuck in this menu and you cannot get away, it took me 3 weeks to figure out how to actually make this menu go away, which is the exact same way. Click your left bumper, or click your left stick, push your right bumper. So now, also fun fact, whatever the last thing you were just painting was, is what everything you will paint will be unless you change it. Which, these were placed with the gray blocks. So I came up, highlighted it, and I used my left trigger, and now the color I have set is back to default. So, after rambling, this should actually be done with processing everything it had. So now I need a few more steel plates. Now I can sacrifice a little bit of iron that I have in here to make the steel plates. Yes, yes, Kev, it would be good on a snow or ice planet. You could make the steel plates and waste the bit of iron you have, but I'm not going to mess around with that because I have planned for all of this. So I'm just going to grind down the useless bits. And by that I mean I can grind all of this down and it's not going to break the unit as a whole. Go in here. I mean, you have to be very careful. Unlike a lot of other games like Ark and I believe even Conan, where you build something and then you want to move it, or something happens and it has to get destroyed, or you got to move it somehow. You break it down. Usually, you get a small percentage or exactly half of the resources in it. Not in this game. If I want to put this thruster over here, I can just grind this thruster down, attach it over here, weld it up, and move on. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, with the exception of batteries. The power cells, if I grind this down, I will get all the components back, except I will end up with a bunch of scrap metal, because the power cells from batteries specifically cannot be transferred over. So if I grind this down, I'm going to have a bunch of this scrap metal in my inventory. And they do that so you can't make an exploit where, oh, this battery is dying, I'm going to grind it down, place a new one, and boom. Then, because every time you place one of these batteries, you are given a starting 25% charge, period. So they did that in order to kind of give you a balance, which it never really comes into play too much, as long as you know, hey, don't grind down the battery to the point where you shred the power cells, otherwise you're screwed. So now, I have 50 more steel plates, so nice little base, but I need to make sure I get this unit power. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press Y, and you'll see on the left side of my screen, just above my oxygen, hydrogen, and health and everything, I have a helmet, which indicates that my helmet is closed. I have a shadowed out jetpack, my looks like a radio signal, and then a flashlight. Wrong thing. When you activate the flashlight, that's there. If I press and hold my right bumper and press X, I can turn my signal on and off. The signal also has a bit of energy draw, but not much. So now I'm going to press Y, and now that is lit up. Now I can fly. Press left bumper, and I can rotate in position. I hope you don't get nauseous at all. And it's literally just you using an hydrogen thruster on your back to go nuts. I tap Y. Now I'm dropping. But it's only 0.25 gravity here, so it's not that big a deal. Now, press Y, and I drop. There is a speed limit in the game. If I'm walking, your max speed limit is 10 meters per second. If I'm in a ship, let's say this thing could fly, I could achieve, vanilla is 100 meters a second in large and small grid. But if I use my personal jetpack and just yeet myself into a direction, I could actually do, I believe it's 110 meters a second. That's not very fast for me. I don't like that. I like going fast. So in my server, I actually have the speed limit increased. Oh. Yeah, if I'm going to play a game and actually really enjoy combat and moving around and stuff, traveling long distances like that planet way out there, that little one out there, I can travel to that. I believe I have it set to where my max speed is either 250 or 500 meters a second. Give me a second. Ugh, excuse me. So, anyways, you want to be careful because inertia is a thing in this game, and also is weight. So, I'm going to pull up my build menu. I'm going to select. Actually, wait. Yeah, I'm going to select that. I'm on small block. I can either hold and press left bumper, or I can just go close enough, and it'll automatically snap to that size. So I'm going to place a number of blocks up. Now the reason for this is we're going to be building wind turbines. Wind turbines are going to be your best friend because that's going to give you an infinite source of power so long as they're connected. So immediately you could see wind turbines. These are both under the same slot, but they're already here. Otherwise, you're going to scroll with your right trigger until you get to production and medical, and you're going to highlight solar panels. Once it's highlighted, click your right bumper. Okay, well this clearly isn't a wind turbine, so click up on your D-pad. You may have a DLC solar panel. Different shapes. Ah, there we go. This is a vanilla wind turbine. Now, I can't place it because I need I need one interior plate. So, that tells me right now, come down here, go over to production. I'm going to press and hold left bumper and click A. That's going to make me 10 interior plates. Scroll back over to inventory, highlight it, and just tap A, and it moves the whole stack. My energy is now low. I can either jump in here and just press and hold X in order to recharge, or I can be lazy and just jump in the control seat and let it do its thing. Wait a minute, who? I must have missed that. Who redeemed the paint cap stuff pink? Because I can do that. Okay, that was you, Alice? Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, give me a minute. I will be able to take care of that. What? Okay, so I'm back up to full percent. Now I'm able to move around. So, also you can see it's getting a little hazy. There is weather in the game. Titan, Triton, Europa, I believe, and Mars and the Moon. You don't really have much in way of weather. However, Earth, Pertam, and Alien Planet are the absolute freaking worst. You'll have thunderstorms, lightning storms, you'll have all kinds of stuff. You can be struck by lightning. I have that turned off with a mod because screw the lightning, that's not fun. So, the nice thing is planets like Pertam and Alien, but mostly Pertam, you can get windstorms or sandstorms, which will actually make your wind turbines spin much faster. At which point it's kind of like, hey, you need to get a battery built on your base. That way, that extra power that's coming out of... Is that actually being seen on the... I don't know if you guys can see the black lines on here. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, that's not the game. That's actually a mod. That's a result of a mod I have, and I just don't know why it does that. But yeah, high winds, windstorms, and things like that produce more power. So I'm going to go ahead and stop with the 2. So now I have this weird looking structure. So now you want to pull out your welder. Look at the piece you've placed. Now you need steel. You need interior plates, motors, structure components. You can build all of this in the survival kit. Now you can go down, make each individual piece, which is going to take forever. But if you click your, if you see in your build menu, and you have something highlighted, you'll see in the bottom right corner it says Build Planner with a plus on it. What you can do is, with your welder out and only your welder, look at an object, get close enough to it where it's highlighted, and then click your left stick. Components added to Build Planner. I'm going to do this twice. So now I do that, and now under Build Planner at the bottom right, it shows that I have 2 large grid, which is symbolized by the large square on the side, wind turbines added to it. Now what that does is land on the ground, go in here. Now this is your inventory. This is the system inventory of everything that you're looking at. But in between, you have withdraw components from Build Planner, or add components to Build Planner production queue. So basically, everything in your Build Planner that is still needed for whatever you're building will be immediately queued up in your production system if you click this button. I've clicked it, I scroll over here, and now all of this is being made. Now, this is a little thing I like to do. It's not required, but I'm going to hold my right bumper on the ingots, and I'm going to kind of drag it to the bottom of the list. So what happens is, all of the materials that are currently in my inventory are going to be used up to make as much of this as it can. While it's doing that, I'm going to then be filling it up with stone. That way, I'm going to pull this out that way. That way I'm able to just continue to run. So pull out my drill, go back underground, and collect more stone. And this is literally it. Let's get this all up and going. This is the very first time I've ever, like, really made a tutorial thing, so I do apologize if this is a little janky. But, fill up as much as you can. It's going to produce all of the resources that it possibly can out of what it has. Okay, so now that's empty. So, let's say I have, this is running, waiting on those parts to be built, and I don't really feel like digging anymore because I know I have enough material in there. So what can I do? Well, I look inside of the H2O2 generator. I only have 300 ice. I'm not burning hydrogen up very fast, so that's not an issue, but I am already at 50% on my oxygen. Kind of need oxygen in a non-breathable atmosphere. So fly down to the ice. And one little convenient thing is, if you don't have your drill out, you don't necessarily know what's under the ground or what's around you. Pull the drill out, and it comes up yellow right under my feet saying, hey, there's ice 11 meters here. Well, in this case, you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, no shit. But if you see light colors like this, white, gray, I believe, or I'm not sure if this planet will do it. Let's see. There is a little bit of reflection on the ice from the sun, so it does kind of play with you a bit. You know, it doesn't look like it does here. Usually on large ice lakes, if there's deposits underneath of the ice, they will actually be speckled kind of a dark gray or black. But you know, you see you've got some speckles there, you've got a whole lot here. If you want to know what they are, get close to it. And now it says, oh my god. It's actually a really good spot to start. I have silver that way, 35 meters, and I have cobalt this way. Unfortunately, neither of these are useful because the survival kit can't process those raw ores. So we're going to wait until we get to a basic refinery, which will be there very soon. Oh, Elise, you're perfectly fine. It's fine. If you have any questions, I'll happily answer them. But like I said, this is like one of those. This is one of those games where there's a lot of information to absorb. There's a nightmare of a learning curve, but it's one of those things where you can play pretty haphazardly as long as you know how to get resources and how to keep your character alive. As long as you can do those two things, you can do anything you want and just bumble and stumble through. So now, okay, there's still ice, nickel, and cobalt, or ice, cobalt, and silver. So can't really do anything with that. What I really want to find is iron. If I can get iron so close to, oh, right there, iron. Swear to God, I did not plan this. So I have. Okay, so there are times when you can get very, very lucky. You can get iron, silicone, and nickel out of just straight stone. That's not a big deal. Iron, you will find yourself using a very large supply of it. Nickel or cobalt is required for a lot of high-end ammo and making metal grids. You cannot make those if you don't have refined cobalt. Nickel is used for, again, making some ammo types, as well as nearly anything to do with power. So the fact that I have all three of these right next to each other within 50 meters, I would go to, I'd push my select button, hit my left trigger, go over to GPS, press X to generate a new GPS location, use my D-pad to navigate over to name, and I'm going to call this the Glory Hole, because that's actually kind of what I name whenever I have three ores that are really, really important that are right next to each other like this. That's a glory hole to me, because it means I don't have to go that far and I don't have to do much effort and actually to get to them. So between all of the deposits we have, we can pretty much go full bore and build whatever the heck we really want. So let's see here. Go over to production. The queue is finished, and we have all the components we need. Now, let's go and get a little bit of ice, because we're not going to burn through a whole lot of it, but it would be nice to have some. So same deal. You're just going to want to hold your right trigger down while navigating one of your fingers over to press the X button. If it helps, you are able to play this game by plugging in a mouse and keyboard. Unfortunately, I don't know those key bindings that well, and I'd really rather not kind of get into that right now. So, I have 4.6. Well, I filled this up. That's not entirely useful because now I can't even put my I can't even put my bottles in here to refill them. So I'm going to hold my left bumper and I'm going to pull 100 out. Can't do that still. Pull another 100 out. I'm going to pull a few more out. Now I can put my oxygen in there. And there we go. And that's it. But I don't want to have to get rid of this, so I'm going to go into... I pushed X on the control seat, press my back button, or what I start calling my inventory button at some point. Navigate over to your inventory on the left, highlight it, and press A, and now it's moved as much as it can over. So now I just push start, or I pushed the pause button on there, and it threw it out of my inventory. So that doesn't matter because I still have 2K in there, and this is full. So we are good. Now, Alice, I'm happy to do it. So now, okay. So we've already covered over. I want to build those. I've told the machine I told the machine how many of components to make of each. Now I can go in and say, give me all, just click A on all of this stuff. Well, that may not be, that's okay for right now, but once you start getting into the more complicated building of stuff, you don't want to waste time doing that. So, when it's highlighted, and you're looking at a large port, and the difference between a large port is you have these small tubes. Nearly all components almost no components can go through these small tubes, so it's worthless to try to mess with that. Give me a second. Okay, Alice. So where was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, if you jump out, that'll be alright. I mean, the video will be there for you whenever you need to go back for a reference point, because this is pretty much going to cover everything you'd ever need to mess with as far as the basics go. So like I said, we've told the computer to make, or we've told the production system to make what we need for the 2 wind turbines. So all you do is press and hold a left and right bumper. Hey, sorry. That is unusual. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Press your right bumper, push your select button, and now in my inventory, I have all of the components that were required. So now, come up here, and then just weld it until it goes. And now that's up and spinning. Weld, oop. There are weird little bugs about Space Engineers. So we are going to go back into it and say, give me those components again. This isn't normal, this is just part of one of the things. Hello, Atgar, welcome back. So we go in here and boom, there we go. Now, we have power on this grid. So, we've gone through the effort of, we got a little bit of mining going on, we've got this. So now, what was the point of all this? What you want to do is get yourself a couple more steel plates. And now there's something very, very important that you need to build. So you're going to build menu, right bumper all the way over to production medical, and you're going to want to go to survival kit. So now, this is a large grid survival kit. The benefit is, the large grid survival kit uses the exact same amount of important components, mainly the medical components, and all other components as the small grid, except it only requires a little bit more steel plate. So I'm going to place the survival kit here, and now, let's see, this needs 30 steel plate. That's it. Well, how many's in this one? This only has 6, so we're going to queue up. Oh, look, we already have 40. So we're going to come over, make sure that's all we're going to put in there. So now we have all the steel plates. So now you want to be really careful, because what's going to happen is components have different weights for what they are. I think the heaviest component in the game is a gravity component, which I think even with 2,000 liters, I think you can only hold like 6. Well, medical components are right up there. You can hold an absurd amount. Yes, yes, Atgar, you're absolutely right. This is 101 SE, because Alice here is going to be hopefully playing this with me. So I'm going to pull all of these components out of here, because if I grind this down, all of those components have a very high chance of coming out into reality and hitting me and killing me on impact. So it's best to just grind all of those components out. Just gently love tap. Now at this moment is the worst in the entire game, because if I die for any reason, I have to start over someplace else. So be very careful not to die. But now that this is on, that thing now no longer has any real honest function and use, other than, I mean, it does provide me with air. Everything else is now going to be facilitated by this one little device. Plus, a really nice thing is, it now has double the cargo capacity. So I can have more stone shoved in there and fill up. Let me drop this because I don't want the gravel yet. Now we have all these components. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we need to elevate ourselves from basic components to the slightly more advanced. Now we need to go, and this is kind of up to you, however you want to go with this. I personally like to go from survival kit to refinery to then assembler, because you can build everything out of the basic assembler out of the survival kit, but you can't refine a lot of anything more advanced than stone with the survival kit. And Parallax is not happy for some freaking reason. They're not mad at me, so I don't care. Also, those Parallax, those are all mods. There are NPCs in the game, but they will not be very aggressive to you unless you get within range of them. So I could build this, except I don't have the means of making metal grids or large steel tubes. Plus, this thing takes 1,200 steel plates, and it's just freaking massive. So, when you have something, but you can't do this, what you can do is push up on the D-pad, and now you can pull out a different version of it. This is one of the DLCs, is the industrial one. It's kind of nice because it allows you to have a little catwalk ladder system. Kind of cool. Push up and down, or up on D-pad again, and now I have the basic refinery. So, basic refinery, it has only 2 points. It is a through point. It has nothing on the bottom, obviously nothing on the top, and nothing on the sides. Only there and there. Yes, yes, Akgar. Space Engineers is crossplay, and this server is... I own this server that I'm playing on specifically, and it's already set up for crossplay. I'm currently on the planet Triton. The planet that is to the left of the screen, if you can see it off in the distance there, I believe that is Alien. And then to my right, if I had more of a view of it, is I think Titan. Titan is an oxygenated ice planet, but it does have stone, so you are able to start there easily. But yes, me and several people are actually on this server, but we've kind of taken a break from it for a little while, and this is kind of my little, I want to get back into playing Space Engineers thing. Give me one quick second. Ignore this. You don't need to worry about this part. I'm just going to play God for a moment and make it daylight again. And, oh! I stand corrected. This is a sandstorm. So now you can see how much faster those are spinning. But anyways, so I need to get this oriented. So I press down on the D-pad, and you can see you have the red axis, green axis, and blue axis. Once you have one selected, it will spin in that axis. And now, boom, there you go. So now I'm connected. I'm on the blue axis right now, so I can just make it sit and spin. What will allow me to do this now? Oh, Alice. There's a lot more I would have to teach you for the basics, but hopefully you'll be able to catch the replay of this, because I will be saving this video specifically. But I do hope you have a good night, and I thank you very much for being here to watch for a little while. Alright, so you want, once it's green and you have it... Oh, and Alice, Rose also says night-night. So now once you have it rotated in the position you want, like anything else you're building, place right trigger. Now, you don't have to stop there. You have the skeleton frame. You already know what side the conveyor line is going to come out of. So click your left stick again, left trigger over. Now you need to go to Basic Assembler. So we've already gone over, if you click that, you push up on the D-pad, now you can cycle through all the different versions. But you can also skip right to it when you're in the menu by highlighting it and just tapping A, and you can actually cycle through. Once you have it selected, push left bumper, or right bumper, and same deal, get it oriented for you. Alice, if you are interested, you were about, yeah, you're 1 hour and 5 minutes in if you just want to jump to that point, that we don't have to rewatch the same stuff again. So the basic assembler is a bit of an annoyance because it only has one conveyor point on any side. The benefit is it doesn't really matter because you don't have to access this thing if you build it just right. And what I mean by that is, let's say, alright, so I'm going to place it here. So now I have an access point right there and an access point right there. But in the middle, I'm going to... I need some interior plates. I've got 8 of them, thankfully. So same thing. Build menu. Right trigger over. We've already gotten to this point, so now we're going to do it one more time. Gas and logistics. Yes, there actually is gas in this game. You have hydrogen, oxygen, and that's pretty much it. So you go down on the D-pad, or you go down on with the left stick, right bumper. So this is the small grid, small cargo container. It doesn't really hold anything. Push up, now you have a medium. This holds about 3,500 liters. And then you have the large, small grid container, which holds 15,000. This is where you now go from small grid press left bumper and press X. Now you're in small large grid cargo container. What you have now is you start with 15,000, and then you can go up to 400 in like 67,000 liters. It's just massive. This is a 3x3 squared block. And to give you a size reference for people who would like to know, one of these is 2.5 meters squared, exactly. Don't ask me feet, please. I don't actually know that right offhand. I just know that these are 2.5 meters squared. And this massive Hulk is 3 of them up. So you're looking at 7.5 meters in all directions. And then I have a DLC one, and then we go back to here. So, now what this does is, this is basically a junction. It has connections on all sides. Does not matter. So, place it. There's the stupid green glitch again. I really wish I could make that go away, but I don't know how. So now what will happen is, once this is all built, I can feed in through here, or I'll be able to load up resources in here, and it'll get processed in the basic refinery, and then built out of the basic assembler, and everything will be ran in one line. However, with the ability to build up now part of the cargo system, that opens me up for what I'm going to do next. First things first, we got to get this basic refinery so we can go and refine all the iron and the nickel, or the iron, nickel, and other resources we have. So, welder, left click to add to build planner. Oops, I'm running out of energy, so get in my seat. Alright, so I was about to lose, yeah, I was about to die if I didn't have that. You will see that blue signal, SRI antenna, when you're in a control seat, press the select button, right trigger over to control panel, and now you can go click on antenna and turn that thing off. Because when it's on, it's using 400 watts. Turn it off and you're fine. But if I go down here to the broadcast range, set up to 50,000 meters or 50 kilometers, now it's using 200 kilowatts. So it's going to be a power drain if you're not careful. The beacon is also off, but the beacon also goes out 200,000 no, it goes out 200 kilometers. So 200,000 meters. And you have your ore detector. Ore detectors use a little bit of power, but not enough to actually really mean you're going to want to have them turned on or off, so I wouldn't bother with it. Ore detectors, small grid, start at 25 meters and go up to they go up to 50 as max, whereas large grid ore detectors, vanilla, start at 75 and go out to, I believe, 150 meters. So I have my energy back, we're good to go. But I want to heal myself a little bit because I did just die, or I did just give a little bit of damage. So look at the terminal, press and hold X, and now I'm healing myself, and we're good. So, back to what we're doing. We have... My TV keeps flashing in and out, so I do apologize. We do have... we have the small... give me a moment. We have the basic refinery in our inventory, or in our build planner. So, just as a basic thing, what I would do is I will actually now begin hitting the add components twice. So I'm going to build enough components to build 2 of these, even though I'm only making 1. What this will do is this will start to kind of snowball and give me a small portion of standing resources or components. That way I can build and repair things here and there as needed. and just constantly doing that. So I'm going to hit this twice. I'll push this button. Alright, I don't have any of those components, so I'll use what I have, put those in there, and we're good. And then we go over to this one. I haven't used anything in it yet, so I'm going to go ahead and just use the 8. Now I need more resources, so I'm going to go and get a little bit of stone, because it gives me iron, nickel, and silicone, and it's a good rounder. But while it's chewing away at these, I'm going to then use my jetpack to fly over to the glory hole and collect iron ore, nickel ore, and cobalt directly. All right. Water, are you saying I'm boring, or you're just getting sleepy? I know this isn't the most riveting, action-packed thing, but trust me when I say if I wasn't sitting and explaining all this, I could move much, much faster. Because I wouldn't have even bothered doing this. I would have actually made this thing fly and flew over to the glory hole. That way it's 300 meters closer. Got a base drill set up, plunged straight down in, and just directly fed the ore straight into the machine. But this is where we are, and this is how I'm doing it. Alright. So here, I still need more. What's going on? Why? I'm confused now. I have 4K in there. Huh. Oh. Because that one was finished. Yeah, the game gets very strange sometimes. So now that the refinery is completed, I can now come over here. And now my priority is going to be iron first, get like 1,500 iron, and then get 250-ish nickel and 250-ish cobalt. Cobalt is one of the resources in the game that takes forever to refine. So badly, I will actually build an entire separate system just to refine only cobalt. It takes that long. And I play with boosted refining on, and it still takes forever. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean my voice, Water? I know I do sound genuinely melancholy most of the time. And let's face it, I don't have Cap here to get any form of just irate reactions out of myself. So, back to this. This is what the normal stone looks like, or if you're on another planet, it'll be gray or brown or something. But, you see a little pinch of rust red right there? That is the beginning of iron. So I'm gonna use left click to hollow out a chunk here, because none of the material I'm removing right now is being picked up or saved. This is just getting deleted. So now we have a straight shot immediately to this beautiful glory that is iron. Now, iron weighs different from stone, obviously, so we'll be able to have a different percentage of this. Well, Nicole, obviously uranium is going to take longer to refine. It is uranium. But yes, as far as most people go, nickel or cobalt is going to take the longest, because uranium is normally a lot more difficult to come by so early on. Alright, so I got a little under. Let me pick you up. Pick you up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm just under 1,500 liters, so I can get 250 of the other two. And this gives me 3K iron. So iron weighs totally different. Now, I have two options. I can go dig another hole straight into each of those, or I can say screw all that and just mine straight to it, because it's probably going to be the same distance anyways. Smoothing voice makes me what? Wait. LOL. Smoothing voice makes me sleepy watching a tutorial. Yeah, soothing voice. If you say I have a soothing voice, one, thank you. Two, I really genuinely don't hear it. Alright, so while continuing to hold left trigger down and just bore my way, moving a couple meters a minute. Somebody on a crotch rocket flying down the highway, so if you heard that, I apologize. I don't think you did, but man, that was loud. Now I'm pretty much right over top the nickel. Oh, there we go. So, nickel, obviously, looks like nickel color. We're going to right-click drill now, collect some of this. Now we did get a good bit of stone. Pick that up. Alright, so I got a little bit more than I actually wanted of the nickel, but it's okay, because nickel will be more important, because I am going to be immediately making batteries. Now just go this way, aim at the cobalt, crouch down, and then just begin scooting your little ass across the ground into where you're needing to go. You've been snoozing to my voice the entire time, Nicole? I don't know. I think Bugs might be a little offended by that one. Aw. Oh, don't you just hate it when the dogs bark at things that they believe or perceive as a threat, and you're like, calm down. It's literally a bird sitting at the window. It's not gonna kill me. Oh, no. I know you said leaves, but it's like... Okay, and there we go. Cobalt is a beautiful shade of cobalt blue. Now, this shit is heavy. It really is really heavy. Here. And now I'm full. And I literally only picked up 47. Now, if one of these boulders hits me with going fast enough, it will kill me. In fact, there was a point in time early on in this game when filling a cargo container up with a max amount of stone or ice and then yeeting it into an enemy base or ship was tantamount to firing a shrapnel projectile into it, because the cargo container would break, the massive chunk of ore would expand and explode, and it would be so big, so thick, and so heavy that everybody's just struggling to start pulling from it to try to make the thing go away, because the entire time you have something that is hundreds of thousands of kilos of weight just bouncing around like a ping pong ball, either inside your base or inside your ship. All the while, it's just smashing and killing your enemies and allies around. So you can obviously tell how it's quite horrifying. There we go. We got 700. Let's pick up a little bit more.
Inventory full.
Get rid of that. Alright, there we go. We got 900. Now, I gotta get the hell out of here because I'm about to... Ooh, look. Iron. Here. Turn that off. The hole, and there we go. So, I can now Alright, so I can access here immediately, or I can scroll down to the refinery itself. I'm going to put the iron in first, then I'm going to put the nickel in, and last I'm going to put the cobalt in, because I really need the iron done first so I can continue building up steel plates, and so I can actually build up all of this. No, this alien is over there. This is where I just dropped it in order to give the little tutorial basic video for Alice specifically, but also anybody else that might be of interest in doing this. Very, very little is different from the way I'm playing it, other than I have a couple things sped up so that I can grind a little faster, I can dig a little faster, I get a little bit higher yield, and I can carry a little bit more. It's the exact same server. This is the server. Like that over on Alien, Nicole, is where me and you are, or where we were before I decided to restart us. Having said that, Cap is still out in space somewhere in his little asteroid hiding from Reavers. And me. And probably you and bugs and pretty much anything that has a pulse. Alright, so I'm back up. And this is actually running. So, oh, I know why. It's because I didn't actually queue up enough of the I didn't queue up any of the ingots, so that makes sense. Now, in order to quick move things, when you're on the left or right side, you can actually click your left stick and cycle through to where you only see your character's inventory. Or you click left stick once, and now you see the same inventory set that is on the right. And the benefit of that is, I have the inventory of the survival kit right next to me. I'm going to scroll down. I have the basic refinery selected, and now I've just instantly transferred those over to where now I'm going to press and hold my right bumper, move that 4K stack over, and it's going to process all that stone to give me a little extra nickel, iron, and silicon before we continue chewing through the yardage of cobalt. Go back to that, and there we go. So, I have extra resources, I have the ability to make a lot of things, but I still don't have the ability to actually make metal grids or small steel tubes. So the small steel tubes I might be kind of screwed on at the moment. But for now, I'm going to left click, or I'm going to left trigger on the basic assembler, go back over here, tell it to queue up 2 of those, that way I have extra components. It's going to chew those away. And now I can actually begin messing around with this. So, grind that down. Grind this down, because these Atmo thrusters are serving literally no purpose. Let me see. I have a gun, I have a little bit more ice in here. I don't care about the ice, honestly, because I'm doing pretty decent. So I'm going to drop that. Poor little Cap. No. I would say poor little Cap, but he brings a lot of stuff on himself. I mean, it's literally. I don't mean to keep ragging on him, but it's literally like trying to house train a animal. It's like, hey, stop peeing in the corner. Hey, stop peeing in the corner. Eventually, after you've reached a point of, okay, the dog knows, stop pissing in the corner, you can go do that outside, because you've given that dog enough training, enough discipline, enough reward and everything. They learned. I've been trying to do that system of discipline and reward with training and teaching and helping him play various video games. And I've kind of come to the point where it's like, he's going to do what he's going to do in a video game, and I've got to the point where I just don't care anymore. I just let whatever happens happen and deal with the aftermath, which usually means I have to fix the problem. So now, it's literally coming from, like, I got nothing but respect for him, but holy shit, he pisses me off. I'm going to begin grinding this down to get myself some more steel plates. Get in here a little bit deeper. Gotta make sure you get all the way up in there. Okay, so here's a hydrogen thruster. The hydrogen thruster has two large steel tubes and 4 metal grid. Nicole is laughing. So I'm gonna grind this down. And now, because I took down all 5 of those thrusters, I have 8 metal grids. The beautiful thing is, this only needs 4. Along with all the other little odds and ends that I've collected, all I need now is 20 small steel tubes. So while this is going to make the small steel tubes, I don't need to worry about using the nickel or any of the cobalt that I've refined, and then I'll have this built up pretty quick. So, pull all those into my inventory, get you built. Now, what do you need for... Queue you up. All I actually need is the steel tubes. I don't need any of this immediately because I can make all of that out of my survival kit, or I can pull it out of different components out of here. So the only thing that matters is the 20 small steel tubes. Thank you, Nicole. I will hydrate. Oh, fun fact. I am currently... That actually... Bella is... potty train. Yeah. Like, if it becomes entertaining... Wait. It becomes entertaining for us when he royally fucks up, because it's usually catastrophic. Yes, it is. Very much so. Cap has no excuses because a 4-month-old puppy can learn. Yes, I know. Yes, yes. Except the problem is, the puppy didn't know anything else. Cap has an entire preconceived notion on doing things. Unfortunately, everybody that he plays with has to unteach him something first before we can cram useful information into that furry little head of his. Oh, caffeine. You know, water, you're slacking. I forgot I even had coffee. Cap is a permanent 2-year-old. No. See, that's disrespectful, because my 3-year-old could probably play this better than him right now. And she's a little gremlin. I love her to death. She's a little gremlin. Rose is throwing shade, saying that she takes after her daddy. Okay, anyways, back to the whole tutorial thing. Yeah. You gotta love live streams. So, let me see. I have an absurd amount of components in here. I'm going to proceed to cut this SOB in half. Get all the nice stuff I need out of it. Get in here, and now we are free. Free at last. Now, some of you may have just realized that, yeah, that weird movement and stuff like that. What? Oh, okay, those two aren't happy with each other. Yeah, so... Where are you guys? I have no idea. Ember is not happy with Parallax at the moment, because I kind of keep making them fight each other. whenever you have weird... This game has what's called phantom forces, and it could be something as simple as a door closing on a non-static block, and it, instead of like pushing it out of the way, it like traps it in place, and then begins jostling. God, what's that word? It begins jostling around in place, causing minor damage to the surrounding objects that are like down the hall 100 meters, and then explodes a battery on the other direction. It's so insane. There's a fictitious, nonsensical bullshit deity in this game called Clang, and it's such a meme that we actually have in the game things called Clang Colas and Clang Coffees, or no, Cosmic Coffees, Clang Colas, and Clang Drives. First thing you should learn about Space Engineers: do not upset Clang. Second thing you learn about Space Engineers is fuck Clang. Yes, I will say fuck Clang every time I play Space Engineers, and he can yeet my shit into oblivion as much as he likes. I'll just turn damage off and watch it struggle to explode. Alright, so I'm pretty much full on components. See what I can do. I did get one steel tube out of there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what do we got in here? Three usually are little gremlins. Yes, they are. Absolutely, Nicole. No, to be fair, my 3-year-old is she's not a little know-it-all. She's the child that I have to remind multiple times at when we go to like public playgrounds and stuff. Honey, you're small, you're squishy, and you're 3 years old. Please stop going up to the 12-year-olds and bullying them. I'm not joking. She does that. It's funny. Oh no, Parallax and Ember do not like each other. Yeah, I know, right? Gear thing. Gyrating. I think the word no, it was jostling. Jostling is another way of saying gyrating, but it's kind of more abrupt. I don't know. It is the right word. Fuck all fuck the mighty Clang. Yep, I agree, Nicole. The bullshit Clang will either make you laugh your ass off or fuck you into a wall. Yes, I completely agree. And yes, I am ad-libbing your text because it is funny. Oh, I might even make that I might see about making that into a an emote of like F Clang or something. Let me quickly, and when I say clicky, quickly, clicky. When I say quickly, I mean very slow and agonizingly refill my energy from the survival kit. Okay, here we go. So, let's see. I need to move. Oh, damn it. Okay. No, that works. That actually does work. Cause right about here. Right there. We go. Let me pull some of the iron over. You in here. Production. Put you in there. And now you're going to produce all of those. And bing bang, oop, bing bang boom, and there we go. Production is now fully operational. I have storage of 15K, and now we are good to actually have some fun. Once you've achieved this state, nothing else really matters. Now the reason, there are some people who may be wondering, why did I just grind down a relatively perfectly fine battery that I could have built off of and made into a vehicle or something? I'm not going to mess around with that this time around. Nope. This time I'm just going to do... Oh, and now that I have a basic refinery, I can now put the scrap metal in there, and the refinery will now break it down back into ingots. So it's kind of good to get that if it wasn't for the fact I'm next to a giant iron vein. But what I was saying is, I have a lot of steel plates, so now I'm going to queue up 1,000 steel plates. Let me get, at the very least, my power support up and running, or at least words. Reinforced, that's what I'm trying to say. Reinforce my power line so that somebody deciding to be a little a-hole doesn't just come by and hit it. So, collect plenty of iron. No, see, I don't know why it's still blurring it out, but whatever. No fucks given, Ghosty. Nope, none at all. I've kind of been at war with, Clang for a while. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yep. I've kind of been at war with Clang for years because he destroyed something I made one day, and ever since then I'm like, nope. If I see somebody who made a monument like to Clang to not have their shit destroyed, I will warhead the hell out of it. I would rather crash my only utility ship into somebody's Clang monument just to say screw Clang publicly than not.
Inventory full.
Alright, so I'm got 4K. Oop, nope, we got it straight up. 4K. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Captain Furry has found out that I am on Space Engineers, and he is probably saying something along the lines of play. Any pet owners know very well what I am talking about. Okay, so 500 steel plates. Give me a second. Kind of a bad cough going on. Get that built up. Get that built up. Now, this isn't going to be exploded by Water's new favorite mental image of a fly farting. Alright, so now, this is complete. Alright, so we can now get out of the nonsense that is hand drilling and begin working on base mounted drilling. So we're going to have actually no, we're going to go one step further. So we've gotten as far as logistics and gas, which I should probably go ahead and just add. I'll add the H2O2 generator in, that way I can at least fill myself up. Oop, don't need that anymore. Same deal, left click. I'm going to hold right bumper, and look, because of all the components and stuff that have been going around, I've already got enough to make this. That's why I do that. So now I have a connection point coming out this way, as well as one going straight up, and it's all still connected. Nice, tightly compacted in there. So, I am out of oxygen at the moment, so what I have in my suit is all I have left. Let's quickly get us some oxygen. The H2O2 generators can actually hold 10,000 ice, 10,000 ice, so we're not going to be worrying about losing any. Or we're not going to be worried about running out or not having enough space. So I got that in there. Got that there. Now, I have an option. I can build the base-mounted drill now, but I'm not actually storing any power. I have no power backup, overflow, or anything, so if another windstorm comes along, I'm not saving any of that power. So I have two options. Insects farting in general, mind fucked me. Well, if I can... No SE whining edition. Oh my god, I know, right? So, water, if that's what you got from the image of a fly farting, I hope you can understand with a big Cheshire Cat smiley grin that I have. You're welcome. Okay, so I need to get a battery on here, is what I was kind of getting at. So, in order to build a large grid battery, I have to make 80 power cells. 80. The small grid one that I had over there only needed 20. So, I'm going to now show how I like to merge large and small grid together. So you're going to go all the way over till you get to advanced, go to rotors, and you click the right bumper. You just need a regular rotor. It's connected via that block and this block, facing up. Pull out your grinder. The base here, that is actually where your... I thought a sandstorm was getting ready to kick off and I was going to be kind of mad. So the base of the rotor is where your steel plate that you've just put in is. The rotor up here is not. So I'm going to grind that away, and I didn't gain anything. So put some steel plates in here to give it a little bit of a buff. Now I need to go into terminal. You can access a couple different ways. If you have an antenna on this bait or on a grid, you can pull it up by pressing your select button, pulling up your menu, go to remote access, and you can see anything with antennas on there and whether or not you have access to them to control or just get into the terminal. You can go through the conveyor ports, or you can actually just look at the little blue data pads and go straight to the control panel itself. So the anything that is damaged or incomplete will show up as red in your control terminal. So what I'm going to do is share inertia. What that means is the mass of the entire structure that is attached to that rotor is now being inputted into whatever is connected. So that means if I have 100 kilos of weight on one end and 10 on the other end, and I tell the thing to rotate, only the 10 is going to rotate, or vice versa. So now I need to go to add rotor head. This will just put a large grid rotor head back on it like a one I just ground away, or I add a small grid rotor, or a small rotor head. I'm going to click attach. Now we're not done yet. I'm going to click rotor lock. Kind of self-explanatory. I don't want it to move. Now, it's so dinky and tiny. Put some steel plates in there. It's enough to get it over the point to where it fully functional. It's fully functional now. So, scroll back to production, and now we can make. I'm going to use the Warfare because I genuinely like how they look. So we've got Warfare battery. I can't get thought there was a way I was able to get a couple of them in there. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Energy critical.
Well, if it helps, just imagine a fly in a like sideways, sexy French pose with a smile, just letting them rip one after another. And now you have that image in your mind. You're very welcome. All right, so we've got one battery there. Got two batteries here. So even this is only half of what a regular one did, and it's still going to give me a bunch of power I could use. So we're going to left trigger, left trigger. Now I've got two batteries in my queue. Come over here. Actually, don't do that because that's going to try to build everything out of that, and it's just not useful. So over here, tell it to make, but I'm going to tell it to make two of them because it never hurts to have extra power cells. Water. The level of sick that I am is almost worthy of scientific study. And Rose is now looking at me just like dumbfounded that I would even admit that. You know what the definition of insanity is? Repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
No energy.
And then I remind you that I am, in fact, the person who plays with Cap constantly. Alright, so we've got that beacon out there. Oh, it's like now I'll have nightmares. Facepalm. There. Pat, pat, hug. Oh, did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Oh, God. Alright, so go up. Here. That there. Oxygen, and we're good. Oh, see, it's repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Over here. Production is wait, no. Yeah, production is completed. So, go here. What? Alright, so 12 power cells just because I don't have enough weight. And we have this one built. And that one's almost built. There we go. And there we go. Now, we have two base batteries. I'll probably go ahead and just build this just because. See, still had enough components, so I'll build that. Hello, Nicole. I was just telling the definition of insanity, which is repeating the same thing over and over with and expecting a different result. Sounds like 90% of human beings' lives. Yes, it is. Okay, so we have reserve power, we have full production, we have oxygen and hydrogen generation. What shall we build? I think we need to build a drill. So, we are going to now I need to grab me some steel plates, say about 50, and then grab the few components that I need there. We're going to go all the way back over to advanced. We're going to build a piston. Piston goes up. Then we're going to go here. Bugs left the stream up. Yeah, Nicole, me and Rose noticed that because she kept asking me, why does this thing say bye? And I'm like, he's probably drunk. He probably passed out because dude does not know how to moderate himself. It's just full go. It's like, hey, you want to do a stream? Sure. 5, 6, 7, 12, 40 hours later, man, I've gone through 40 cases of freaking beer now, and I'm just getting started. Bugs is a good guy, but man, his personal demons really do genuinely scare me. I wish I could help him more. I really do. My God. Anyways, I'm gonna add a vertical one here because, and hopefully, I'll be able to bring a ship. I'll build a ship that can dock up here and help load and unload what all's going on there. Press up on the D-pad, cycle through. Now I want to build straight out a good little ways. That seems to be good right there. Oop. And now we're going to build one going down. And then we need another piston. So now, what I need to do is build you and build you. Queue those up. Nicole, I don't foresee him doing that ever. Not that I don't think he has the willpower, it's I don't think he wants to. And you gotta want to get better. Alright, so let me give you a little explanation of what's going on here. I'm going to have the base mounted piston go up. It's going to be fully extended 10 meters, so 5 blocks. No. Yeah, well, it's going to go all the way out 10 meters. So it's going to come out. And then it's going to come down another... intentionally, I'm hoping I can do 30. So one more piston on the bottom of these ones. So these 3 will go down. And then this one will go down. And I'm even going to go as far as to add a rotating head here to maximize the amount of ore I can collect. I need to get this into the system. I'm not entirely sure if those were the components I needed. No, those were not the components I needed. Why do I have all that in my inventory?
Low.
I don't know. Alright, so we're going to go over here. Alright, I'm going to place that chair right there. Alright, so now I can sit in this chair and refill my... No woman wants a fish for... Yeah, no, you're right. You're completely right. Yeah, I wonder if he would... I wonder if Bugs would be angry if we all got him into a stream. And we're like, Bugs, I think we should talk about your problem. I'm pretty sure he'd be like, nah, man, nah, man, I'm not doing this. Nah, man, I ain't doing any of this. Nicole, how dare you turn your back on me? And then he leaves. Intervention. All right. And I may sound like I'm joking about it, but I'm not. If we can do that, that would be great. Dino Boy says goodnight. Alright, so we have our first piston. We have our first piston head. Now, let us go into the inventory, or into the control panel. So now, piston. Now the way this works is, you can't tell it really well here, but this is a good example. White, anything lit up in white is directly connected to what you are accessing it through. So this chair, for instance, I go in terminal, everything white is directly connected to the chair. Then you get into orange is connected via what's called a subgrid. Meaning, there's some lightning over there. These two batteries being connected to this rotating object are considered a subgrid because this is a static object. That is not, but it's all part of the same line. Just like this piston is part of the same static subgrid, but everything attached to that piston head is one. Well, it also continues into this piston will be a different color because it's connected to its own entity, and then this will be, and then this will be, and on and on and on. Eventually, if you have an absurd amount of subgrids connected to one giant mass, and you go down your control panel, it could very well look like the modern day equivalent of the technicolored rainbow that we got going around. Well, if he says he's going to do like a 12 or 24 hour stream, we could probably lock him in that way. Not sure what it was saying I needed those for, but right? So, when this game first came out, when I played it, we only had access to a conveyor junction, which looks identical to a cargo container, except you can't put anything in it. It literally is just to allow cargo to pass from one thing to another. That's it. But it allows you to connect in all 6 directions, or 8. So then you had your conveyor lines, which is just, think of garden hoses. Then they gave us the ability to have T-junctions, and then sorters. I, for one, love using sorters. They're very complicated, but long story short is you could have one sorter hooked up to a system that actually throws out useless stuff, like, hey, I have no need for basic tools, or gravel, or we're trying to do, we only want to mine iron, so we don't need the stone and the ice and everything else, so it's only going to keep iron, or it's going to throw out everything but the iron. The other thing you can also do is you can have it hooked up to the top of something and connect up to it and actually drain and pull out resources in cargo ships and stuff to try to speed that whole system up. But it basically allows you to direct where the flow of components and items go. Then with the release of I think it was one of the Warfare updates, they gave us reinforced conveyors. Reinforced conveyors are like the one and only conveyor line I ever use. One, I can place them with using steel plates, so I don't need to carry interior plates like I did with the regular ones. But 2, they take a little bit more damage, and they are their own. They have their own connection points on all sides. So now it makes building a lot more structurally sound. It makes it a lot simpler. You have all the same stuff, and then just one of the cool things, they did give us like end caps. I don't really use them because I don't ever build for aesthetics unless something special is going on. But it is kind of cool to be able to like, hey, I don't want to have this thing just looking like, oh, well, clearly you couldn't have done anything with that, so I'm just going to slap a cover over the thing, and then we go back. So yeah, I like using them because they give they give a little bit more protection, but more importantly, I can build off of them, and it not require anything extra. So, back to what I was doing. Alright, so nothing in there. We're going to queue this up. Actually, I'm going to queue up 2 of those. Make a whole mess of them. And the best part of all is, once this is done, you can then confidently build anything you could possibly want. You want to build an airship to take you to another planet right now? Go for it. I'd recommend bringing as much of this as you can, so you don't have to go through everything we just did to get just to this point on another planet or an asteroid. Or you can build yourself a mining vehicle to hook up and fly over to your ore deposits you've discovered, your ice. You can build a fighter to go up and attack the Spirit of Le Mans and other ships and stuff that are flying around. That way, hey, I just took control. I pirated this ship, so I didn't have to build one. Or you could do the much more civilized thing, which is go to one of these beacons and pick up a contract for one of various things, salvaging something, finding someone, escorting ships, or my personal favorite, and there's a lightning storm. Or my personal favorite, which is, oh hey, we'll give you 2 million space credits for like 2,000 iron ingots. 2,000 iron ingots. So you can then save up all that money and then eventually buy a ship from another trade station somewhere else that you can learn from buying a GPS from that place, and you'll move around, learn all these things. God, look at those things spin. But, yep, that's where we're at. We are now out of resources. So, let's collect what we can. Get as many of these built up as we can. Damn it. For the life of me, I cannot remember what the heck I actually built there. Okay. Also, the fun fact. This little tiny hole can be seen from space because of how the game's rendering and textures kick in. It's quite annoying, but it does give some people, like myself, another challenge that we have to engineer our way out of in order to survive on like hardcore PvP open world open servers. Oop, I'm pushing the wrong damn button. Sorry guys, I'm kind of starting to get a little tired and drowsy. I don't want to do that. I don't know what's been going on, but since I've been back from New York, oh man, it feels like I don't get enough sleep. I blame Rose. Yeah, all those little rose catnaps.
You're gonna blame that shit on me now.
It's a grinder. So yeah, you can't actually be hurt if you bump into this, which is I find hilarious. Chocolate cake time. Oh, what? Chocolate cake time. Ooey goo. Oh, ooey gooey, yummy, yummy. I call bullshit, Ghost. Water, you can call bullshit on me all you like. You're not only welcome to, you're almost encouraged to, but I speak the truth at all times.
Bullshit.
I am as honest as. Well, I would say I'm as honest as a nun or a priest or anything, but we all have heard the stories and we all know how that always ends. And Rose has made the fatal mistake of setting her feet next to me, and I just can't help but poke them because she doesn't like her feet touched. Yeah, I've been kicked a few times for it, but I don't care. It was worth it. Yeah, whatever helps you fall asleep at night. You know, there's a lot that can help me fall asleep at night. Um, Cyanide, um, codeine, morphine, and alcohol.
Energy low.
All right. Coffee doesn't do. Coffee does not do a damn thing to keep me awake. What do we got over here? I didn't want to know. Stoop you bullshitters. Bullshiznit. I don't speak to bullshiznit. I can hear Rose now typing away. She's going to join into chat and try and slander my name a bit more. I don't care. I know what the truth is, and that is all that matters. Again, Rose is just looking at me like, you what? Alright, so, back to the actual tutorial of the game. Now that everything is completed, you can start to see how we have yellow here, kind of an orange, then we got a darker orange, it's red or orange and a peach color, whatever you want. So once it's highlighted, then press and hold your right bumper, tap A, tap A. Now I have all three of these selected and one. I'm going to collect all of them. I'm going to tell them all to share inertia. And then I'm going to tell the white piston to reverse. So it's going to go all the way up.
Energy critical.
My energy is getting low. Ideally, you want to be able to be just above the surface for a setup like this in order to get like the maximum amount of reach with the drill. Retract, or not retract, extend, extend. Well, that's actually not entirely hateful. because we've now effectively rammed that head very deep into the ground. What I was saying about those Phantom Forces? Yeah, that's how they happen. Not me, though, because I'll never play this. Wait, what? Okay.
Why do you read from the bottom? Read from the top down.
Okay. 2 hours in, you should get $100 ahead for each hour of SE 101. I mean, I would be all for that if it wasn't for the... Why are you... I don't know. I think I may have broken something. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Alright, don't worry, I'm going to pull it out. See what we got. And now it's decided to go pink and green, pink and green, pink and green. Ah, see, it was rammed into the ground so hard that the head busted off. Rose snickered at that, meaning she's very immature. Reverse this. Tell me something. Why is it friends like to drink drunk dial? As somebody who has very recently drunk dialed or drunk discorded, I don't know. Need to put the head back on. Alright, go down here, add piston head. So that's back on. That. Here. Telling me it needs 8 steel tubes, so. Water, are you a drunk dialer? No, sorry, you're just a drunk Twitch chatter. And possibly end up, it's like, instead of a homeless shelter, she ends up at the pet store. It's like, oh, he's just a cute little puppy, I'm gonna take him home. I was like, ma'am, I'm not, in fact, an animal. It's like, oh, it's so cute. It's like, you know what, for you, I'll say it. Yeah, I'll wear the leash. Oh, Lord. Well, Nicole, to be fair, I didn't finish reading your message, but to be fair, anytime you go to a Ren fair, it's kind of stereotypical to get at least 1 or 2 people in your group completely shit-faced. Yep. Yep, that's about what I would expect. Water, you do want more puppies. Uh-huh. Well, if you ever find yourself in West Virginia, I know where you can get at least one really, demented one.
Oh my god, it hit me.
Rose stared at me for a second, and then all of a sudden it went click, and she's like, oh my god. Like, yup. Yeah, although to be fair, he was quite scared shitless when I sent him a screenshot of my GPS location when I was in Morgantown. I don't know where he lives, but apparently Morgantown is close to it. And he started losing his damn mind because he actually thought I was there to whoop his ass. I'm like, why would I do that? Yes, you piss me off, but I'm not gonna actually do that. It's not worth that much effort. Okay, so Let me go back to. We're gonna go under wheels and weapons. Yes, we have weapons in here. All kinds of stuff: big booms, little booms, small guns, large guns, thrusting guns, and long yeety bits. So we're gonna go to grinders. So we have grinders, we have welders, and we have drills. You can completely automate your entire rig and never actually have to mess with anything at all. You can do all of everything you do on your own. You can do with pull this out, cue those up. Everything you do by hand, you can eventually upgrade yourself to the point where you don't need to. You just boom, build a ship or build a drill rig or something. Build something to do it for you. Oh, Bella's gonna have a boyfriend. That's funny. That's adorable. Yeah, Cap is definitely what I would call more of the Chihuahua at heart. Shakes and undulates at everything. It's like, I'm allergic to tap water. Whereas someone like myself is like, I will survive anything. Oh, water. Didn't you know that's like one of the more amusing but also terrifying parts of being a multiple pet owner? Puppies having puppies? Yup. It's terrifying. So, these take an absurd amount of steel plates, so it's going to be a while. The nice side is, I could actually slowly lower this down to where just the tip is in and let it collect some stone on its own. That way it'll just be refining it as it goes. I'm a survivor, I'm a forgiver, something, something I don't remember. uh, but he's a good boy. Well, they're all good boys until they sneak outside and about 3-4 weeks later there's a box that dropped off at your front door saying, look what your dog did. Of course, the same could also be if you have a son or a daughter. It's like, look what your son did. This one's pregnant. Or it's like, honey, why is it like, oh, okay. Now it's like, then you have to do the whole Peter Griffin thing. Pull out the shotgun. It's like, I'm just gonna talk to him. Loading it. It's like, I'm just gonna talk to him. I'm just gonna talk to him. I'm just gonna kill. I'm just gonna talk to him. Oh, nothing like the ultimate cock block. Nicole, only you took that as a perverted manner, and that is a shame on you. Shame, shame. Sorry, it wasn't just you. Rose was also snickering at it, but we all know, Rose finds silly little things like that amusing. I'm half tempted to actually take an idea that I saw from somebody else's Discord, where they will literally go in and say they will repost quotes that the streamer had said out of context. Things like in the game, it's like, "Oh, I'm playing Sims. Who the hell's knocking on the door?" And it's like, It's a 12-year-old girl with a donkey. What the hell is this all about? And they'll save the part where it says 12-year-old girl with a donkey and forget and leave the rest completely missing. And now anybody who goes back to that part is going to be like, what the hell was what was going on when they were playing this game? I was like, look, Ma, no hands. Nicole, I have no... Oh my god. You know, surprisingly, that does... That does... None of that shocks me. Yeah, yeah, none of that shocks me. Short girls that like to whoop the shit out of guys as for their actual job usually would definitely pass as that style of
Energy.
freelance work. Alright, we are now up and running, except I gotta make sure that my advanced rotor is also, because this is another subgrid, and you can see the Technicolor rainbow is beginning to form as I've got, what, 4 different colors right there. I've got orange, white, yellow, green, and then I think that's another shade of brighter green. I mean, Nicole, you can be as average as you like, but when a short girl shows up with a police baton and handcuffs, somebody's going to have a good time, and it's probably not going to be the person that doesn't have the handcuffs. His name is Romeo, by the way. Oh my god. He's already 50 pounds. I was like, holy shit. So, do you just not believe in getting small animals? Do you only like raising horses? Well, it's all about how you carry yourself, Nicole. If you act like a kinky little witch, I'm gonna think you're a bit shorter. Oh, Nicole, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but liquor is not on the menu, so the water or the liquor thing is being replaced by a shot or a double by 2.5 swigs of water. Tell a corny joke. Damn, I actually thought of a funny one yesterday. What the hell was it? Oh,
Reach down here and grab my scrunchie.
I didn't drop anything.
I watched you.
Energy critical.
Let me see. Alright, so we're going to turn the drills on. We're going to make damn sure that the rotor head is spinning nice and fast. Whee! I'm going to get out of the way before it kills me. And now, I'm going to go to one of the pistons. I'm going to select A, and then it's going to pull up the value set, and then if I push A again, yes, I did see that. I'm going, Nicole, thank you. I'm going to set, we'll say 0.01. And that 0.01, and now it's just going to slowly begin to drop. You spin my drill right round, right round. There's sometimes I've gotten really bored and added my recharge seat on the end of... Is that actually working? Oh, yep, there it goes. Let the dust cloud begin. Oh, let me see. So, I love telling dad jokes. Sometimes he even laughs. See, my rotor is fine. You can have a slow spinning rotor, or you can have a slow penetrating piston. I like having fast rotor because, you know, that just watching that just makes me so freaking happy because it's like a giant middle finger to Clang. And then I have the pistons slowly penetrate into the ground because they are slowly making contact with the surface, which means that it actually gives a little bit more time to collect. And I've actually checked it. Going slow with a drill in, you actually gain a little bit more stone or a little bit more resource. Except, I'm pretty sure I'm going to fill this thing up very quickly. Nope, actually that's not. It's keeping up with it pretty well right now. No, I think as long as when you go to pull it out of the hole, you don't do it too fast, I don't think it's going to break. Rose is just, again, staring at me like, really?
Because you stared me down first.
Yes, I do believe that was a clever dad joke. Uh... So, Water, I thought about getting a couple dogs. I was going to name them Timex and Rolex. They would be watchdogs. It's just slowly penetrating in a little more, little more. With that setup, you could do an X pattern. Yes, 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 yes. Get double resources. But the whole point of this, Nicole, was to just kind of get a basis going on to where this is the most basic setup that you can even go a little bit smaller. If you're in a super, super big hurry, you could also build something along the lines of go to advanced, go to hinge. From the hinge, you put a small hinge head on, then you put a conveyor converter, put 2 or 3 small grid pistons with a small grid drill on the end, pivot it down and plunge straight into the ground, and hey, look, now you have immediate access to a lot more resources and you can build something else quicker. It's all about really how fast and efficiently. Like, personally, it took me 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to this point, and I could honestly have just skipped a couple steps, not made it rotate, just plunged straight down, called it a day, and went on and did something else. But I've got 3 pistons, I've got 30 meters of clearance that I can harvest. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have... yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have more resources than I know what to do with by the time this even ends 1 or 2 pistons. Let's see. I need to remember those. Yes. Yes, you should. Cowboy might name his new puppy those. You took you 2 hours to get to this point. Well, it took me that amount of time because I was giving a complete, in-depth, step-by-step tutorial instructional breakdown. Usually, in about 15 minutes, I'm in a flying ship going somewhere else and finding a good base location. This is me just boom, boom, get this done and go. So this was 2 hours and 15 minutes to explain. And I did over-engineer a couple things, but I'd rather over-engineer and make sure it worked the first time than under-engineer it and be like, well, crap, now I have to stop because I didn't have enough of this or that. That's why I got 2 batteries on the side back here. Plus, with how slow this is going, I don't think I'm ever actually going to fill up on stone because my basic refinery is actually kicking it out much faster than the drill was able to process, so this is actually pretty damn efficient. Now, if I'm left to my own devices and not like, okay, hang on, this is the next step, this is the next step, this is the next step. Oh, look at that planet. And then this is the next step, this is the next step, this is the next step. Dirty joke here, dirty innuendo there, pointing out, making fun of Cap. These are all things that have just added more time. So if this was a matter of, hey, I'm going to race to get to building a ship of some kind, no, this is not how I would have done it. This is just, hey, if you're starting out for the very first time, you want to have a guaranteed good, solid start, you can't go wrong with this, really. I mean, this is over-engineered pretty damn far for somebody starting out. But I wanted to make sure I got the point across that there's a lot of stuff you can do. I'm processing and making materials, and I don't even need to do anything. And I'm also still confused on whether or not you mean, LOL, it took you that long to get to this point, or LOL, my god, you did it that fast. So, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, thank you, Water. I love the cats. Hopefully before too long I will actually be able to have my own emotes with my own little character. But, yeah. Just, sitting here watching this thing screw in further and further. I'm usually already building a primary base, by the second hour. Oh, yeah, no. I never, ever, 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 ever build a base until I'm like 100% guaranteed that, yeah, this is a good location. Then I'm used to playing on PvP servers. See, what's really cool is if you watch this, you have that center head spinning in one direction, you have the entire upper half spinning in another direction, and it looks, and because it's all stationary, it's just like, God, that's so satisfying to watch. Okay, where are we at now? Yeah, I think we're alright. Turn you off. Turn the drills off. Turn you off. And lock the head. Slowing down. That's it. It's just, it's a nice, good barrier between top and the bottom. Yes, Water, you spin my head right round, baby, like a record, right round. Nicole, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have this. Now we need to build a. That's a new level of the fuck. Let me get that. Let me get this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 4. Okay, that should be good right there. What are those gonna say? I'm half-ass. You half-ass reader. What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, Water. I know. It ain't gonna change anytime soon, but I understand. Hugs and kisses, too. Look, reading was never my strong suit. In fact, if I could get through life without ever reading, I would have already picked that option. Because fuck the English language and everything it stands for. All of its pretentious, overcomplicated, illogical bullshit. Oh. Well, I'm trying to figure out, should I build an atmosphere, should I build a flyer or something out of hydrogen because I'm so damn close to freaking ice? Kind of thinking I should build something in hydrogen because I'm so damn close to ice. Learn Polish. Nah, I don't. I think I already sound half drunk enough as it is.
Go fuck yourself.
Gówna.
Dupek pierdolony.
Dopominana.
Pierdol chcesz?
¿Qué pasa? When she starts talking Polish to me, I just look at her, smile like, okay, honey, whatever. Oh, it's like, I hate reading until I found some books that just, wait. It just sucked me in. And see, this is the thing. I can't read fast enough to keep my mind engaged. That's the problem. Now, if I listen to audiobooks, I could listen, You're No Funny. Oh, I'm very, very funny. I can listen to audiobooks for days on end. And honestly, I've gone through a shitload of audio, like, books I physically held in my hand and read, I can count them on one hand. Audiobooks, I lost count within the first year. It's like, holy shit. You'd make a horse laugh. I would probably make him blush, but yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Alright, so let's build a flyer. Something. Damn. I want it for cargo. I mean, Water, to be fair, you did kind of set that one up for me pretty damn perfectly. Let's go here. Oh, no, I don't want a central. Damn it, I can't decide. Okay, we'll just do this. Well, yeah. To be fair, that is pretty damn true. The problem for me, but still, was the fact that I just can't read it fast enough for my mind to stay engaged. Because I've fallen asleep reading numerous times. Like it was one of the original Halo books back when I was in high school, and I freaking love the book. I could not stop reading this thing. But even while I'm reading, I'm like, I just fall asleep because my mind is not being engaged enough. All right, so four. Hmm. All right, so we're gonna go with this. Yeah, and it's not a matter of like I wasn't interested in the book. No, I was very interested in the book, but I was also, my mind was sitting there like, are you gonna actually do something, or like, which is kind of why I prefer video games over books and movies. Like, you can't explain to me the benefit of reading a novel as opposed to playing a video game that's telling the exact same story. Because for me, it's okay, cool. The story's being told, but at least with the video game, I have my own input and I can actually interact with it. Versus the story is just, you're just reading about what has already happened and you have absolutely no impact on it. Which I know some people aren't always into that and aren't always looking for that, but it's like, if I'm gonna put forth my own time and effort into doing this, it's like I want to feel like I've done something. Like reading a educational book or something, that's one thing because you're gaining knowledge, hopefully, of the subject matter.
Gain knowledge regardless from books.
But when you read a novel or something, it's like, sure, you might think, oh, huh, that's a different outlook on life. But at the same time, it's like you kind of wasted a lot of the time that you could have used doing something else or developing another skill. There's always a trade off for anything you do. Yes, I'm actually avidly arguing against the point of reading. it's, it's horrible. Like, don't get me wrong. Reading is obviously important because we got to be able to have information transferred from one person to another. I got into an argument with my sister-in-law, who was at one point a college teacher. Uh, I don't know if she was exactly a professor, but she gave instructional seminars in college, for college, um, in the medical field even. And I actually made her kind of rage quit an argument because I simply asked her, "Can you explain to me the difference between watching a football game, reading a book, reading a fictional novel, watching a movie, or playing a video game?" And she just kind of like, she had no answer. She could not defend she could not give me any justified thing. She just kind of threw her hands up in the air and stormed off. And I looked at my brother and I'm like, I think I just won an argument that should not have been won. Even he was looking at me like, how the hell did you do that? I mean, if you've had a book fall on your face from sleeping water multiple times, then maybe not read in that position.
No, she said she didn't fall asleep. She just dropped the book because she was tired.
Had books fall on my face multiple times.
Oh my god. I don't think I ever fell asleep reading a book, but I had books fall on my face multiple times, being tired but not wanting to stop.
Okay. Then that's, yeah.
She didn't say she fell asleep.
I didn't say she fell asleep. I just
You
said
did.
don't read in that position.
You said she fell asleep.
Anyways. Yeah, Nicole, I don't. No, I've never come across a book, and I've actually taken the time and effort to scour, my God, to hunt down subject matter that I was really passionate or really, really interested in, and there was never a single point in time ever that I actually thought, man, I don't want to sleep. I want to find out what happens next, kind of thing.
My favorite book that I ever read was In Solitary Blue. It was about a boy and his adventures, and
Let's see.
I loved it.
I mean, hell, when it comes to an audiobook, I think I've listened and re-listened through Jurassic Park novel, probably somewhere in the realm of like 20 times. I am not joking. Sometimes I after the first time I listened to it, I was listening to it very intently. But after the first time, I started listening to it again and again and again because I started picking up different things here and there, just mostly about how Michael Crichton was writing the books. But then eventually it got to the point like this, there were certain things like, holy shit, this is so stupid, and I realized how parts of the way he had certain characters written was to make them intentionally stupid just to push the story along, and I'm like, I don't like this character anymore because of that fact. Who, Nicole? I don't. Have you mentioned something about Is that? I'm not even going to attempt that first name because I can't not pronounce that correctly. Uh, Newman. The last name Newman as an author sounds really familiar. That might be my niece. It might be my niece that reads that as well.
She didn't write Newman.
Norman. Sorry, not Newman. Lizanne. Lizanne Norman. Hmm. I don't know. I'm pretty. I think that is. I think my niece does read something by that author. Um. Okay, so I've got 4 batteries. My central core. I'm probably gonna add a couple more batteries just to give me a bit more size. I need cargo capacity. Let's go with conveyor tube. Oh no. You better give me a freaking. What? There we go. Yeah, that's. Yeah, that's lined up. Right here.
She's going AFK.
Right here.
Drunk will make her come.
Oh Lord, Nicole, wish you the best of luck. I know what that's like.
Water said you missed it. She said I get sucked into where I feel like I'm in the damn book. LOL. I literally swear I feel and see what what's in the book.
Oh yeah, no water. I did see that message. I was just stuck in the thought of finishing what I was saying about Nicole's thing. Yeah, no, I understand that because I know that feeling is like when I first was listening to the one book. Like I love the Jurassic Park series up until the most recent movies, because they got worse and worse. Um, but there was a moment in the very first book because everybody knows has seen the movie that there was only three raptors, right? And those three raptors wreaked all kinds of havoc. Well, in the book, put it this way: if they had adapted the book into the to the movie even 10% more accurately, the movie would have been straight up rated R. Like there's a couple even for the time. There's a pretty couple pretty graphic death scenes in there. Like you're blatantly obvious. It's blatantly obvious what is going on, even for like a 10-year-old to understand. Oh, that's pretty bad. But the movie opens up with a guy not being attacked, but had already been attacked, getting helped in the treatment and everything in the little ramshackled doctor's office on the mainland and everything. Dude going into convulsions, falling off the table. It's a very, very vivid detail. But then eventually, as the story goes on, he's like, okay, cool, you're kind of in the lulled in the sense of relaxation. And then they get to the part where the computer starts doing a tally and counting off all the dinosaurs and shit. And it gets to the raptors. Again, movie, only had 3. Book, 32 of them. And the moment they said that, it's like, I actually got a freaking cold chill on me. Like, holy shit. Like, this is now a whole other ball game. So the entire time, like, there are raptors just in packs running all over the damn island. The hunter guy who was going around the movie saying he wanted to just start killing these things because they're far too lethal, he actually blows a few of them up with a freaking rocket launcher in the book. Why was that not put into the movie? Because that sounds awesome. But no, it just go. I understand. I listened to a few audiobooks that were made in the Alien universe. One of them was Cold Storage, which was all right. It wasn't too hateful, but the one I really liked was I think it was either called Black Desert or Desert Souls or something desert, or Sands, where a group goes back to the original planet that the first Alien movie happened on or started from, and there was this colony hive or whatever, and it was I think like 100 years into the future. Ripley's descendants or whatever they just basically like, oh, okay, well, she blew up our stuff. And the corporation's like, okay, well, the next generation, nope, you can't do it either. Next generation, and they just kept moving the debt that was owed because Ripley blew some stuff up. Excuse me. Ripley moved it. Ripley just kept moving, or getting her debt moved on to her descendants, until it got to this kid, this young guy who has, and they never really explain this, telepathy with the freaking creature, with the xenomorphs, which, okay, that's messed up, but whatever. It was a reason to get him into the story to bring the readers in. And they eventually end up nuking the entire hive to the point where it was underground, and they just crater this thing. I think I think there was at one point saying that like it was 30 something kilometers across, and it was like 30 kilometers across, and the one like main antagonist was sitting there looking at the main guy, this dude, and was like, I have you dead to rights. I should be able to punish you for this, but I can't because technically you didn't do anything wrong. And the way it's just kind of one of those like, wow, I genuinely hated that character, and this dude is freaking awesome because he just got off scot-free. But yeah, no, and that one, the audiobook was done in a I don't remember the way the style it's called, but it's when each character has their own voice actor or at least a different person talking for them. Uh, and it gave a little bit of credence, a bit more heart to the story itself. But my whole point is with the audiobooks is they're being read fast enough that I'm able to play the events in my mind like a movie, which helps to engage and draw me in. Whereas when I'm reading it, I can't do that fast enough, and my mind just kind of shuts off. It's like, screw this, I'm bored. Turning your computer off sound of do 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 do, and that's just where I'm at. Honestly, no. Amazon is probably the best bet, but it's like Aliens, Black Desert, or Desert Souls or something. For you, Water, I would honestly recommend the Cold Storage, Alien Cold Storage. It's or not storage, Cold Forge. That's it, Cold Forge. That one I would recommend for you because it is pretty good. Like it's the main character is again a female, but she's portrayed as they kind of dabble in a little bit of the feminism thing, but they've done it in a way that I believe is more respectful. And it's like, yeah, she has her own views and everything, but there's reasons for it, and it doesn't involve a moment of bashing on men for it, which is kind of why I actually sympathized with the character more because of that. Because like whoever the author was took the time to think, oh, I'm going to write this character because of A, B, and C, and it has nothing to do with any of the stereotypical reasons why people do that. But the kicker is, the whole thing, she's in a xenomorph story, and she's in a wheelchair. So the way she ends up surviving is insane. Yep, that Water or Nicole, that is a very good point. I don't have. Yeah, no. Okay, I was about to say that 1% is lasting a while. I should have actually just come straight over to here, but I didn't. Yeah, Water. I think Amazon would have it. If you're talking about, if you're okay, Water. If you're talking about Jurassic Park novels, so get this. There's what, 6, 7 Jurassic movies out now. There are only 2 novels. One step further, 90% of all of the material that is used in every single movie only comes from the very first novel. The second movie, Lost World Jurassic Park, or Jurassic Park The Lost World, whatever, how you want to say it, is does correlate with a book, another novel that Steven Spielberg talked to Michael Crichton, who they were buddies, and asked, and like actually didn't even ask, begged Michael to make another book. It's like, you got to give me more material. You got to give me more material. This is a gold mine. Please give me more. So the second book takes a complete left turn. They bring back, because Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm, he died in the original book. Okay, he just outright died. He got attacked by the T-Rex and died from sepsis from his leg or hip injury, whatever it was, and died from it before he even got off the island. John Hammond died. his grandkids, they were flipped. The boy was older, and the sister was only like 5 or 6. And I think it's actually kind of unanimously declared as the single most agonizingly painful, annoying character in the entire book, because she literally does nothing but nearly gets everyone killed. Um, but no. So the second book, both of these I know for a fact are on Amazon because I've bought them from there. Um, the second book versus the movie, I'll tell you this: the only things,
We would love to read them.
the only things that the book and the movie for the second one have in common is there's another island. People go to the island, and yeah, that's it. That's literally the only comparison. There's like a good uh thinking time wise of the audiobook. There's literally only about no, not only about. There's literally a good 45 minutes to an hour worth of reading, good fast-paced reading before they even get to the freaking island. There's dinosaurs on the mainland. There's conspiracy cover-ups. There's so in the first movie, the guy who gives the fat dude Newman from what's his name, something Black, Shane Black. The guy's name is something Black. Who plays Nedry, Dennis Nedry, who plays the guy who sabotages the whole damn island. The dude that paid him is in the second book, and he brings along a couple of his buddies. And long story short, they get their comeuppance. And I think in the movie, it was there was like a small mob of like soldiers from InGen that were trying to take dinosaurs off the island. None of that shit happens. None of that is even a thing. And then there is, I will say this: the first 15 minutes worth of reading in the second book is a whole lot of long college lecture bullshit over evolution and extinction and just a whole lot of stuff. And me personally, after the very first time I listened to it, I just skipped that entire part because it just does not add anything to the story other than, oh hey, Ian's still alive, and these are my new beliefs because Ian Malcolm is Michael Crichton, the author's persona in the story itself. Let's fix the daylight. There we go. Yeah, Nicole's right. Barnes and Noble is an amazing place to get freaking books. We used to have a brick and mortar store, but probably 4 years ago or so, they ended up closing it down, and it got turned into an Aldi's. um, well, I'm honestly I'm glad. Uh, I will say this: I have a much greater appreciation for the movies because of the books. However, I also have a much more jaded disdain for it because it's like in the first Jurassic World, they introduced a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like this is this is people thought like, oh my god, this is all brand new. It's like no, the directors knew that a lot of people didn't read the novel, and they just grew up watching the movie. More power to them, but it's like none of that stuff should even be a thing. Oh god. So yeah, back to building this. Okay. So God, yeah, I'm at 3 hours, and I think the last like 20 to 30 minutes has just been me ranting on about a novel. Um. mm, mm, mm. Y- Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to make a part two, which means I need to name this. Actually, I can just do this over here. Actually, just do it from right here in the freaking seat. Over here. Uh. And then we go down here to the survival kit. Alright, there we go. So now, I won't accidentally spawn here when I'm not, or when I'm like trying to do something over on the other planet. Uh, let's see. Okay, I so I'm been writing a novel. I don't like reading, and yet I'm writing a damn novel. Yes, that's insane. Not because I have any other thoughts about it, other than I have a story that I want to get out of my damn head and put onto paper. It is a story based in the Fallout universe, based in the state I live in, because I know a good, very large chunk of military knowledge of my state, as well as all of the fun little conspiracies. And I have all of that built in. And if you've ever played Fallout 3, the not Far Harbor, the Point Lookout DLC, where they take you to uh, Point Lookout, Maryland, I think. It's Point Lookout, but I can't. I think it was Maryland. Um, they water. There's a difference between reading it and deciphering it, and it has to be deciphered first because again, I don't like the English language, and I just use words that sound like they work, not that are spelled the way they should be. Um, like for me, there's no difference between there, and there. Where, and where. There's no difference in any of those. None of those words need to have multiple meanings or spellings. It does not matter. It's just pure absolute. What's the word? Arrogance. Um, uh, shit. Begins with the P. Pretentious. Yeah, that's just pure pretentious bullshit. That's all it is. So having said that, it needs to be deciphered. But to give you a couple of snippets, my character his name is the full his full name is Vados, but nickname is Voss, which both are being used, and both are from two characters I really like in video games and anime. Uh, then I have my buddy Delta. His character, I think his name was Jim. No, I think it was James in there. And the whole thing is a good chunk of the story is being told from the events of literally just a paddle boat ferryman going from the northern half of the state to the southern half of the state, and that's it, and all of the bullshit that happens in between. However, then there's two other side characters who have their own stories going on, kind of like the GTA 5 where you have the three main characters. It's kind of like that, where you have one who is a scientist who was alive and out fishing the day the bombs fell, who eventually turns himself into one of the very few perfect super mutants who has all of his intelligence, all of his sensibilities, and his like every beneficial thing about becoming a super mutant he has, and he's also he's super brilliant. Then you have my character, and then you have a soldier in the Enclave based out, and their events, just day-to-day things going on, and how the big conflict is supposed to be a massive war between two super mutant factions fighting each other. Because on the one hand, you have the intelligent super mutants who have no flaws, who, like, again, just perfect. Imagine if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Imagine an entire population of cells, of perfect cells, and that mentality, and that's basically what the perfect super mutants have toward everyone else. So when they see... Wait. Uh, Yeah, Nicole, I agree about yeah being based out of Texas and Texas's whole thing. But let's be completely honest. If a war was going to happen, Texas is one of the states that one of two things will happen to it. Period, bar none, no exceptions. It'll be nuked into extinction to where the whole state of Texas is just a crater, or it's going to be not hit enough, act like it's just another Monday, and just continue on with its life. Super mutants try to get into freaking Texas, and they're going to find out what it's like when Americans aren't restrained. And that's
That will be a cool freaking story.
um. Nicole, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by Perfect Cell not being perfect, because he had already absorbed the other two androids. Like, literally the arrogant, self-absorbed, perfect Cell. So you're gonna need to explain that one a little bit to me, because I really do like the way they 4-star rewrote that character. But yeah, so the perfect super mutants in my story see the non-perfect super mutants, the big green dum-dums that we already play in the fight against in the game, as an abomination, pretty much like the way the Brotherhood looks at most mutants. Says, yeah, those need to go because they're not like us. But they don't do that with humans because they see humans, and I actually go into scientific details on how they were able to multiple times repeat the perfect super mutant process, which a big part of it comes from two things. Willing, 100% willing volunteers, and relatively unirradiated humans. Is if you're an irradiated human, they're just going to ignore you. I took bits from, and the entire thing is actually based, because the first game and the second game, original Fallout 1, Fallout 2, there's an 80-year span between the two games. That's where my story takes place, which is part of why I'm able to dabble in a little bit of the lore of and use some of the snippets from Fallout 76 because all of that was going on at the same time. Even I think it was I can't remember his name, but it was Blackburn from 76 who actually came up with his own strain of the super mutant virus, uh, which is directly linked with the Blood Eagles to my character to my character scientific character's research and everything and all of their testing. If Cell was perfect, Gohan wouldn't have been able to. I mean, what do you mean? He, on the one hand, Perfect Cell didn't start making Cell Juniors until he absorbed Android 18. So, let you run that one through your mind for a bit. But also at the same time, Perfect Cell absorbed Android 17, immediately changed and transformed, and then absorbed 18, and then immediately changed and transformed. So it's about as assimilated into one being as they could have been, removing the fact of, the separate entities were still inside of him. Yeah, it could be argued that give him enough time and they would have just decayed inside of him and literally become 100% part of one being. That wouldn't have mattered because Gohan still would have whooped his ever-loving ass. Yes, Water, you're going to have some of the most insane. By the way, as long as you can, eat some cheese. Any kind of cheese, doesn't really matter. Just get a big chunk of cheese and just take a bite out of it. I don't know why, but whenever I eat cheese just before I go to sleep, it is almost like the equivalent of dropping a little bit of acid. Because the dreams I have are fucking weird. Let me see. Okay, Water. I wouldn't recommend eating a whole block of cheese because I love cheese. Yes, she said, "Oh, I'm gonna eat a whole block." Oh my God, I love cheese. I love so much cheese that I haven't shit in 3 years. But no, that's a joke. Don't do that, please. Just a bite is all you would need to do if you're gonna have any kind of effect from it. Um, uh, I've never found a correlation to sharp cheddar, Parmesan, mozzarella, or Munster cheese, or Asiago if you really want to get real fancy. Just so cheese in general. Cottage cheese doesn't work though. Uh, but yeah, Nicole, Gohan punching Perfect Cell in the gut and him spitting her back out only makes sense and from the point of the I don't want to say corpse because she's an android, so that doesn't work. But yeah, literally, the separate being got shot out of his got puked back up. But for a brief few moments, he was still Perfect Cell, and then he reverted back to being semi-perfect Cell. And I suddenly remembered Vegeta's quote, which is absolutely masterfully written. What do you mean semi-perfect? You're either perfect or you're not me. Or, what was the other one? It's like how he's semi-perfect Cell fighting Vegeta after he was in the hyperbolic time chamber and is just kicking the shit out of Cell, and Cell's like, how the hell is this possible? It's like, oh, I worked out all day yesterday. It's like, you think you're being cute? Like, bitch, I'm adorable. Nothing beats a physical dream. Sorry. Nothing beats psychedelic dream. Sorry, psychedelic dream. I had in a hospital when I had an open fracture.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit! But Nicole, to be fair, I'm pretty sure they also had you on one or two different kinds of painkillers, which, you know, drugs always make dreams more vivid. Um, so I'm going to do probably the sanest thing I can do right now, which is go to the main menu. Uh, hmm. I wonder. Yeah, no, I don't know if I could do that from here. Um, I'm actually munching on cheese now. Bella is drooling. Oh, good lord. The meds the docs gave me made the dreams insanely weird. See, I see the words insanely and instantly almost identical. God. But, yeah, no, Nicole, I do completely agree. There's some crazy shit. Well, water, my immediate response is no. Cheese is not good for dogs. My follow-up response is it kind of depends on the dog, the chunk of cheese, and why you're giving it to them. Because I know chocolate is inherently god-awful for dogs, like straight-up toxic. However, I also know firsthand that my dog ate an entire fucking bag, like a pound-and-a-half bag of Hershey's Kisses, and was perfectly fine. And then I heard another one ate like a couple of the chocolate chip cookie mini Kisses and was nearly killed. Both big dogs, like over 25, 30, 40 pounds. So, when it comes to cheese, I know cheese isn't harmful to dogs because I've personally given medication to a couple dogs in the past with a block of cheese or with a chunk of cheese. But I also do know firsthand that the gas that comes as a byproduct of a dog consuming that cheese, it is honestly goes against the Geneva Convention. Oh, the problem is Bella might very well have good doggy dreams, except you won't be sleeping, because if she sleeps anywhere near you, she will probably gas you so bad that you won't be able to sleep. I'm not joking about the dog farting after eating cheese thing. It is vile. One of the most vile things I have ever smelled. Keep in mind, I've been to New York City. It stank. Okay, in some areas it did. Especially around the river. Around the river was bad.
Yeah, the river. It's the East River. You know
Yeah,
how many bodies are in
the
there?
East River. The East River is inherently just
Do you know
toxic.
how many bodies decomposed in there?
Yes. Probably enough to double the population.
Probably.
Okay, let me go through this. Like one of the. Oh my god. I love the Warshak paintings, I really do. Good lord. Give her a slice. I'll live. You'll live, but you might want to burn your bed sheets. Rose is dying. Like, Rose is just cracking up. Well, yeah, it's essentially just a chunk. Oh, no, how did they describe it? How did they describe it in... They described it in Dragon Ball to Beerus as, here's a chunk of cheese. It's like, who knew fermented... who knew fermented bovine lactations could be so tasty? It's like, oh my god, it's so horrible. It was it was either that was either in Dragon Ball or that was in Goblin Slayer, because my favorite character in Goblin Slayer is the dragon dude. And the first time he ever eats cheese, he just loses his damn mind, and literally everything, every other word that comes out of his mouth when it comes to rewards, like, do y'all have any cheese? It's like, I'm gonna melt this cheese over the fire and shove this molten ball of goo into my mouth because, oh my god, it's the nectar of the gods. Like, yup, that would be me if I was a freaking lizard man in this story. Bring on the cheese. I'm going to buy an entire cow farm, a dairy farm, just so I can have my own supply of cheese. Which everyone refers to as Goblin Slayer's wife, girlfriend, surrogate sister, person, whoever the hell she is essentially cowgirl. What kind of cheese? Water. What kind of cheese does she make? All kinds. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so Nicole, what that doc gave you was probably a high dosage cocktail of some good shit. Good lord. My personally speaking, water, it is kind of a tie for me. It's kind of a tie for me when it comes to cheese. When I try to think of, like, what's my absolute favorite cheese. So I love Asiago, but too much of it and the taste and smell kind of start to wear thin on me. But even that, it's like, maybe one more bite. Fresh Parmesan cheese, oh my god, I freaking love it. It just, I love the texture. I love the saltiness of it. It is, the sharpness is amazing. Mozzarella cheese, meh. It's on, like, freaking everything. Um, Extra sharp cheddar cheese is probably one of the, like, definitely number two, if not number one.
Said I'm eating her cheddar cheese now. She aged this one for 5 years. It's to die for. OMG, usually she ages cheddar about a year and a half.
Now, okay, so water, are you talking just straight cheddar cheese, mild cheddar cheese, or sharp, extra sharp? Because I love the sour bite of extra sharp cheddar cheese. Oh my god, I can almost feel the tingling on my tongue from that. But then you get into, like, Munster cheese.
Said she aged that one for 5 years though.
Munster cheese for me, it's good. I like it, but it kind of has, like, a very flat note. I'm not even going to get into the grilled cheese byproduct that is American cheese. Just, it is what it is, and we just move on. Um, I do really like whatever the cheese Rose got me, or had a little bit of. It almost tastes like a sharp cheddar, but I don't think it is because there's a couple other tastes, like aftertaste to it, that are not normal for cheddar. So I'm thinking it's something else. Nicole, if you close your eyes, imagine a mountain of ooey gooey, dripping cheese that is giving you the anime yum yum eyes, begging you to take a bite. Imagine biting into the side of just a big block of cheese that is at the perfect melting temperature, and you go to pull, and you have like a 6 foot long stretch on it. Cheese a cheese. Cheese a cheese. Cheese, cheese, cheese. Would you like some cheese with that cheese on that burger of cheese? Or go to one of those restaurants where they pull out a wheel of fucking cheese, burn the one side of it with a damn blowtorch, and just scrape the gooey goodness off. Right onto your, right on. Coastline. Water, drink water. Anything to make him stop talking about freaking cheese. Uh, oh my god. Ooh, water. If you can, get a little bit of like Cajun seasoning, sprinkle it on a couple of the cheese slices before you put it in the before you actually cook it. Oh god, it is amazing. That little hint of spice mixed in with the cheese is amazing. Well, that's another one. Habanero pepper jack cheese is amazing. I didn't think I would like that, but it is really good. But probably Gouda's not bad. Smoked Gouda's quite nice, but even that, like, too much of it is can kind of get very, it can get very old quick. But smoked cheddar cheese, specifically smoked white cheddar cheese, over either applewood or hickory. Oh my god, I can't eat enough of it. Me and my mom used to actually kind of get into shouting matches because we couldn't figure out who ate the block of cheese. Sometimes it was me, sometimes it was her, and sometimes my dad would throw us a curveball and he would eat it. Now you see, when I was a kid, everyone would like, "Hey, we're gonna stop at the convenience store. Who wants a candy bar or something?" Everyone's like, "Me, me, me," and they look at me like, "Oh, what kind of candy bar do you want?" I'm like, "Can I get a block of cheese?" Everyone would just stop and look at me like, "The fuck? What is wrong with you?" Well, one, it's cheaper. Two, it's good. It's so good. Oh, hang on. I gotta go AFK for a second. Well, Nicole, if you want to get World War Z, you, me, and Bugs could play that because it's up to a four-person co-op, and it is crossplay. You're gonna pass out, Water. You're gonna pass out dreaming of ooey gooey, stretchy cheese and flies farting. Yes, I'm gonna continue to remind you of that.
As you said the first part, she wrote the second you said the fly. She said ew.
Yeah. Melting down a bunch of mozzarella cheese, throwing in a little bit of Parmesan cheese for a good salty bite, and then finally dicing up little bits of pepperoni, and then getting all that mixed together and putting it back in the fridge and letting it solidify. Oh, there we go. I'll sleep with this block of cheese. Well, I'm sure Pavo will understand. It is cheese.
I would be more worried about Bella.
Yeah, don't do that because Bella might decide that she wants that block of cheese and will go through you to get it. Why not sleep? Book about cheese. Haha, yes. Oh, so and my available time to play does not always coincide with what's available. Well, to be fair, Nicole, yeah, that is true. But it's like I've explained to a lot of other people. If it's the weekends, and specifically weekends that I don't have my daughters, I can play damn near any time after Friday night. Let me see. I wish I could do just chatting on my Xbox instead of having this game playing in the background. But if I switch, then it's going to cut me off for a minute. I do also want to point out the fact that after many, many years of playing with this same Xbox profile, I finally cleared 60,000 gamer score. It's just an arbitrary, worthless figure, but it is kind of cool to see, like, wow, there's a 60 up there finally.
I can't with you moving your hand. Wait, please. Keep it on my leg.
Oh, well, I think that's been long enough. We're nearly the 4-hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. You have all been absolutely wonderful. It's always a pleasure having every single one of you pop in and out of chat and just add your own little spice and flavor to the stream. You guys, yep, Water, have a good night, sleep well, please don't give the doggy any more cheese, and definitely look up those books. I can't stress that enough. 2 amazing books. Nicole, I wish you all the cheesiest dreams that you could possibly imagine. And yes, we will have to figure something out. So please get DayZ. That would be really fun. And to anyone who is watching this after the fact, thank you. You are awesome. And I'm going to have to end this. Unfortunately, it pains me, but have a good night, everyone.